All right, Jim. So I want to run through a couple of things like I mentioned last night that kind of helped me out in some of the same symptoms that you're experiencing with tightness in your IT band, some problems with your knee, pain that radiates from your calf, even in your glute and lower back. So a couple of things that I use is this foam roller I kind of mentioned last night. This one I picked up at Walmart when I went out and got the softball. I think this was $5, and this one was I think $26 or $30, something like that. But the difference with this is not only is it small and portable, but it's got the PVC inside, and it's wrapped with this somewhat of a soft type of a rubber on the outside. It's really sturdy, durable, and really gets to those tight spots too. So what I usually do is start off with doing some foam rolling, and the way to do that is pretty simple. Is you want to lay on your side here and kind of roll back and forth like this. It's going to be painful, but it's that it's helping out. And also what I usually like to do is get the hamstrings as well. Just roll out. And I usually do this 5 to 10 minutes, each side, and really get into those tight spots. I got tight hamstring and high up in the glute area, so I usually roll that out until it gets really kind of painful. And I know I'm working that the right way. So you could do either side. You could do your quads, rolling that out before any stretches, and then I move on to this, which a lot of people use a medicine ball, but I find this is a smaller surface area, kind of really digs in. And that just kind of, again, what I'll do is I'll prop up my left leg on my right, get a good stretch in there, and then just kind of roll it around. And again, do the hamstring as well. So I do either side, again, 5 to 10 minutes. Then I move on to a hip circle. This is going to activate your glutes and your hips, and it's going to warm them up and prepare for any activity that you may be doing, whether it's working out or playing some basketball. Now you can find something like this at any, rehabilitation, wherever. My wife gets these, but I found this one here online. This is actually made by a power lifter. It's pretty durable, and it's got a lot more resistance than something just like this, but this will suffice too. So what you do with this is you basically throw it on, okay? Now, in the sake of demonstration, I'm not going to go back and forth throughout the room, but that's exactly what you want to do. You want to do side to side, something like this, but the position that you're in is extremely important. You want to kind of hinge at your hips, keep a slight bend in the knee, and when you keep going back and forth, you're definitely going to feel that. You could also do, Frankenstein walks, kind of like this, back and forth, but keep your hips hinged, slight bend in the knee. And I usually do that for about 6 to 8 minutes, back and forth, up and down. Then, after I do all that, I'm ready for my stretches, which the first one is going to concentrate in around your hip flexor a little bit. Okay, so like so, you want to kind of keep your hips pushed in. Okay, not back out like this. So when you push your hips in, thrust your hips forward, you want to tighten your glute that you're stretching and your abs. Okay, this specific side of your core. Okay, and then when you do that, it's going to really pull a lot of tension in here, right out. It's going to stretch that nicely. So you want to come in, lean in, again, keeping your hips kind of pushed forward, everything's tight, and you come back. Just come in, come back. Now, the way this looks from behind is important because your foot placement is what's really going to drive the stretching and open those hips right up. So you don't want to keep your foot inside like this. You want to kind of keep it out, okay? And your heels up. So when you kind of drive in, you're going to feel a lot of that tightness kind of really opening up nicely. And then you just simply do it with the other side. And now I'll usually do about 2 sets of these. 10, I count, 10 repetitions, but it's like, 1, 2. But you want to really hold it there, tighten everything, come back. Come in, come back. Now the next one that I usually do is opening up your quads. It's going to kind of stretch out a little bit of that muscle around the knees. Now a lot of people are familiar with, you stretch your quad like this, but this is the way that really gets it in there. Okay? You want to lay on your side, bring your knee up like this. This foot comes right back. Okay? And just kind of relax. Don't lean too far back like this. You want to keep your shoulders kind of in front like that. And just pull. And just count 10 to 15 seconds. Then you switch either side. The other one here is one of the favorites for stretching out the glute, the IT band, and some of the muscles and tendons around the knee. You just kind of want to kick it right back. Okay, now your body and hip position is pretty important here. A lot of people kind of bend down like this, which is fine, but I usually like to kind of arch my back, put my chest up, and kind of move it around a little bit. It's going to really stretch out your glute. Okay, and I will even come this far out, kind of driving my belly button over my leg, like this, and I'll do this side. All the while I'm trying to keep my chest up. Okay, now you can come down a little bit like that. Move it around. Now it's important that, again, from behind, your back leg's position. That it's not flailing out like this. It's kind of tucked in back, not too far back. Just get a nice spot there where you really feel the stretching going on here. So that's one of my favorite types of stretches. In addition to stretching out your piriformis, I hope I pronounced that right. But that again is zip up in your glute, as well as we're going to stretch this out here. So just sit on anything, a chair, edge of a couch, edge of a bed, and again you're going to push your hips forward and lean into it. Okay, you don't want to hunch over like this. It's doing nothing. Actually, you're going to put a little bit more strain on your knee. You don't want that. You want to keep your chest up, hips in, and just lean forward. You'll feel it all in down here and in your glute. And then you do the other side. Okay. Now this foot position here, you can really find, where you're comfortable with it. If you need to start down a little bit lower, that's fine. Just kind of come in. You can also want to push your knee down a little bit. You could also move this around a little bit until you're comfortable. Keep your chest up. So that's the other one. Now keep in mind you should be pretty loose at this point. So you can start to move into a little bit of body weight resistance and stretching that I like to incorporate. This is another good one that's going to really kind of work out your hamstring. It's going to loosen a lot of the stuff in your leg. Your glute, again, your IT band here. And what I usually do is completely lock in my legs. Okay, I'm as stiff as a board. Okay, and then usually take the hand of the leg side that you're going to be incorporating, locking this leg, coming out like that. Coming in. You don't have to hold it out there too long. Just come in, get out there, come back in, like this. 10 reps, 2-3 sets. What else is there? Oh, okay, important. This is going to be a little bit of a preemptive type of a stretch and movement for squats, especially if you're playing basketball. And you want to really open up those hips utilize the power within your hips so you're not overcompensating in your joints, like your knees, even putting some stress in your lower back. You could even have some issues with your shoulders that you had mentioned that you were stiff on. So what I usually do before every squat routine or anything that I'm going to be doing, if I'm playing basketball outside or street hockey, whatever the case may be, I want to really open up my hips. Okay? So you get back into that position that we were in the beginning. Now, it's going to be a little bit different. Okay? This is really going to open up your flexor, everything in there. Okay? You want to hold down your foot. Okay? And you kind of want to turn out. Okay? You want to push on your knee. Get that open. Your knee out. Okay? Get your belly button out as far as you can. And then other side. You really want to work it in there. Okay? And you can even move that all around. Get that junk out of there. You're going to feel a lot of crunching and movement. That's okay. You can tell the difference between good pain and bad pain. You don't want anything popping out on you, but good pain is that stretching out. Really get it in there. I'm going to move to the other side. Okay, one side may be tighter than the other. This is my tight side. Yeah. I'm going to move it around in that position. Yeah. And the other side here. Belly button. Try to bring your belly button because this is going to force your hips up. If you want to just do this, you're hunched over. You're losing the effectiveness of the stretch. So you want to pull your belly button over the side here. And then, just kind of work it out like that. Okay? Now, once you do that, you want to kind of do some body weight squats. Now, the way to do this where you're incorporating all of the right joints and the muscles for your squat, and even when you're playing basketball, if you're going side to side like this, what you want to do is always hinge at your hips first. A lot of people bend at the knees first. Okay, they're up like this. They got the squat bar. I don't know if you can see it. I got the squat bar. They will break at the knees first. No, you want to hinge at your hips, kind of like you're sitting down in a seat. So, like that. And right back up. So when you do body weight squats, okay, you want to get the most power from your hips. You're going to keep everything else safe, your knees specifically. You want to push your knees out. So what I usually like to do is plant my feet shoulder width apart, keep my feet forward. A lot of people go out like this, they bow out their feet. You're losing a lot of power that way. So if you come in like this, now you can kind of twist your feet out. You're going to feel it tightening up in your hips. Okay? So when you come out, your hips or your knees automatically will push out. Okay? And my butt's back. Okay, the side angle. Okay? Push out. And back up. That's one way that you're going to use a lot of that leverage from your hips and your butt. Okay? Now you can do that with basketball, anything like that. It's going to loosen you up really nicely. Now when you prepare for a squat, okay, a couple of things I wanted to at least show you while I had the time in doing this is your flexibility and what you should be doing to optimize not only your strength but safety, and so you're not killing your lower back, wrecking your knees. Again, a lot of people break at the knees first, keeping their back as straight as possible. You really want to just kind of sit back into the squat. Envision your feet spreading the floor. So if you want to put your feet in and kind of really twist it and spread them out, that's where you're getting a lot of the hip drive, okay? And your glutes. You want to incorporate your glutes. Glutes are one of the strongest parts of your body. A lot of people don't use it. So you sit back into it, okay? drive it up, clenching your butt as hard as you possibly can. That's even effective in the deadlift. You get down, get some leg drive, get it to your knees, your glutes, firing it, pushing your hips forward. It's going to take a lot of the pressure off of your lower back. A lot of people round out, you know, they're straight-legged, and they're lifting with their lower back. They don't use any of their glutes. So when you're in it, in the position for a deadlift, you got your whole body locked in, push off with your legs, you get everything back. Your glutes should be firing, pushing your hips forward, taking all that pressure off your lower back. And the last thing I want to cover here for you is working some of your shoulder mobility. What's been helping me a lot is this. Alright, I forgot to bring up the stick earlier. This is just a handle from one of those, you know, those sweepers. But it works just as effectively as anything else. So, what you want to do here, to get you a better idea of what we're working with here, this is going to get your shoulders used to, you know, that somewhat of an awkward position here. So, again, you want to hinge at your hips. You want to keep the broom handle here at 3 positions of your body. You have back of your head, the upper back, and right here at the base of your back and top of your butt. Okay? You don't want to let that broom leave those 3 points. Okay? So you want to have a little flex in your knees, but you want to hinge. Right like that. Okay? Come down until it's tight, and right back up. Okay? While you're holding this and you're bending over, you're going to feel a lot of pull in your shoulders. This way, you want to do it both sides. I'm really tight on this side. So this is the side I usually have to really concentrate on, okay? Back straight, everything's tight, and come down. See? This is bringing this stick here off of the top of my butt. I don't want that. So this is what I usually do. 3 sets, about 15 each side. And when I say each side, hand placement. It's usually, if you can see this here, hand placement, top, one side, top, other side. Okay? That's what you want to do. Again, that's just a simple broom handle. So, again, these are just a lot of the things that I usually do before I work out. Hopefully it can help you. This is going to be the major factor here. Rolling out that IT band is step number 1 and your most important, as well as this. Just get one of those little balls, they're like $5, and get to it. Now, this has helped me a lot. I had the same symptoms that you had or are having, and this knocked them out in the matter of a few weeks. Just consistently doing it twice a day. Like I said, I usually do it in the morning, and I usually do it before bedtime. Now, I don't know if you have a desk job or what have you. The last thing I usually do, because I was having a lot of issues, was when I'm sitting all day. I sit 8 hours a day at a desk, and your body tightens up. It's the worst thing you could do is sit all day. So if you can't stand, if you can't move around, get everything going, this is what I usually do. I will stand, you know, for about 10 minutes every hour. And what I usually do that is kind of in line with the same rehab that I've been doing for the pain that I've had was stand up, put my feet directly under, not shoulder width apart like this. I put my feet directly under my hips, okay, not my shoulders, okay? And when I do that, I tighten my butt as hard as I possibly can, okay? That's going to normal stance, push my hips forward, okay? Bring my chest up, and I will stand there like this and tighten my core as well, okay? That's what I'll do. I mean, standing there like this, kind of, you know, you might feel ridiculous, but for about 10, 15 minutes at the most, it's really going to help. a lot. Now, if you're sitting down at a desk all day, again, you know, you might slouch, you might get a little lazy, your back might stunt around. When you start noticing that, push your hips forward, and you could even tighten your abs, tighten your core a little bit. Not all day, but just enough where you're going to get your posture back. It's going to alleviate some of that awkward pressure on your hips. And you can even kind of move it around and you know, stretch that a little bit as much as you possibly can if you're sitting all day. So I do hope this helped you. If you have any questions or anything like that, just shoot me a message or what have you. Let me know how it goes, and you know, if you need anything else. All right.